If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I love to sell books on Amazon, but you might not have known that I also love to sell DVDs, just like this. DVDs on Amazon are mega profitable, they sell very fast, and a lot of people aren't going after these items. Well, in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the 5 things that you need to know before you sell a DVD on Amazon, okay? So in this video, I'm gonna be using 2 tools. Number 1 is a tool called SellerAmp, which is an absolute game changer for Amazon sellers, and also a tool called Keepa. So let's get into this video and let's break down the 5 things that you need to know before you start selling DVDs so you can start making some money. All right, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is find a DVD that we're looking to resell. So I'm actually using a software. I didn't mention this in the beginning. It's called reselling.com. This is a software where you can find items that are undervalued on eBay and then sell them on Amazon for a lot more money. So let's take a look and see if we can find a DVD that we can resell. All right, perfect. This is actually a DVD I've sold before multiple times. It's called Benny Hill. There's a whole bunch of different versions of this DVD, but this one right here is the 1972 to 1974 3 DVD set. We can see we could buy this for $33 and sell it for $63 and make $10 profit. So let's click into this DVD right now. And the first thing that I wanted to mention before you sell a DVD, the first thing you always want to do is you want to make sure that you can actually sell that DVD, because when you're selling on Amazon, certain products, depending on how old your account is and your selling history, certain products are going to be restricted. That means that you're not going to be able to sell it. But the good news is if you are restricted, or otherwise known as being gated on Amazon, you could get ungated. So here on the left-hand side, I have a tool that's called SellerAmp, and I'm going to be talking a lot about this tool in this video because I use it all the time when I'm buying items from eBay to flip on Amazon, or I'm doing online arbitrage. Also, if I'm sourcing out at the thrift store, I'll also use SellerAmp as well. But one thing that you can do is you can scroll down on SellerAmp and you can see if you are able to sell this item. So if you take a look under here under alerts, it says eligibility. And essentially what this tool will do is it will link up to your Amazon account and it will pretty much tell you if you're gated or ungated for the product, or if you're able to sell it or not able to sell it. So I can see right here that I'm able to sell this product. Now, if you're a new reseller and maybe you've only been selling some books or selling maybe some other items around your house, if you want to sell DVDs, you are going to have to get ungated to sell DVDs. Now, I'm going to share with you a free resource here that's essentially going to break down how you can get ungated for certain categories and products. You know, if you want to get ungated in toys, grocery, health and household, supplements, Lego, here's a couple resources you can use. But when it comes to DVDs, I use the website christianbook.com. And essentially what you're going to have to do is buy 10 of a DVD from this website. And once you buy 10 of a DVD, it has to be one specific DVD, and you have to make sure the ASIN is active on Amazon. Once you do that, they're going to send you an invoice just like this. And typically what I do is I write the ASIN down, I highlight it. I also highlight the date and then the DVD, just like in this invoice right here. And once you get that, you can pretty much take a picture of it, send it over to Amazon, and you'll be able to get ungated to sell DVDs. Because again, if you're not ungated, when you come over to here to SellerAmp, it's going to tell you that you're not able to sell it, and it's going to tell you that you're restricted. So that's number 1. Before you sell a DVD, don't go out and buy a bunch of DVDs unless you get ungated. This process, you can do it for as little as 30 to 40 bucks. Again, just go over to christianbook.com right here and find pretty much the cheapest DVD that you possibly can that's active on Amazon. Buy 10, get the invoice, go to Amazon Seller Central, add a product. It's going to say you're restricted. It's going to ask you to upload an invoice. Bada bing, bada boom. Next thing you know, the profits are coming soon. All right, perfect. So hopefully you're ungated. If not, again, go to christianbook.com and get ungated. The second thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run the numbers to see what your ROI and profit is on the DVD. Now, I know right here we're on repluncatcher.com, and you know this breaks it down for you. But if you're out in the field or you come across a product on a website and you want to be able to break down the numbers, I want to share with you exactly how you should do it. And I want to also give you some ideas in terms of like minimum ROI and minimum profit that I typically go after. So the cool thing about SellerAmp, and this is something that I always do, is before I buy an item to resell it, what I do is I come into SellerAmp, and you could do this on your computer, via desktop, or you could download the SellerAmp mobile app. And what you could do is you could type in your cost, your buy price, and then you could type in your selling price as well. So let's say let's just say we got a discount on this item, because a lot of times you can get coupons on eBay, or they're running discounts where you can make a best offer. Let's say we got this item for, let's just say $24.99, and you can see that the buy box right now is at $57.99. Let's just say that maybe we're going to price second or third in line. Let's say that we're going to price it for maybe $59.99. You could see right here, if we were able to buy it for $24.99 and sell it for $59.99, we would make $15.68 profit and a 62% ROI, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, if you're going to thrift stores and whatnot, you're typically going to be buying DVDs for maybe $1, $2. Maybe if you have a Savers, My Savers thrift store, some of the box sets are up to like $4.99. So again, you could put in your buy cost and you could put in your selling price. But the best part is SellerAmp will break this down for you. Now, when I'm selling DVDs, and this is like a general rule of thumb, I typically will not sell a DVD if it doesn't make me at least $5 profit and at least a 40% return on investment. I know you might be thinking to yourself, well, hey, Steve, the stock market, on average gives 8 to 10%, so on and so forth. I get it. Like, selling on Amazon is much more lucrative, and there's obviously benefits to the stock market, and, there's downsides, and there's good and bad with Amazon as well. But typically with a product, I don't like to go less than 40%. Why? Because there's so many opportunities to find items like DVDs at thrift stores, yard sales, estate sales, eBay to Amazon, like literally thousands. You could find hundreds of thousands of them on Replay Catcher alone. And that's only one method right there, from eBay to Amazon. So you want to have at least, in my opinion, at least a $5 profit. For me, I'm really honestly up to like a minimum of an $8 to a $10 profit. But again, you can do it based on what you're comfortable with, and at least a 40% ROI, because sometimes prices will drop. Sometimes there'll be what's known as price tanking. Sometimes an item won't sell and you're going to have to lower the price. So you want to have some room to be able to lower your price if the market changes. And again, that's why I want at least a $5 profit. Again, I'm honestly more towards $8 to $10, if not more, and at least a 40% ROI, because there's always an opportunity cost. And again, this is why I plug all this into SellerAmp, but there's always an opportunity cost. So don't find yourself just spending all your money and buying all the low-hanging fruit, just because it's going to make you $3, $4, $5. You want to deploy your money and make the most money possible. So tip number 2, at least a 40% ROI and at least a $5 profit. If you're using SellerAmp, you could plug it in. It breaks it all down. And if you plug these same numbers in, it might even say you're more profitable. The reason is because inside your settings, you could add in miscellaneous fees. I have virtual assistants. I have a prep center. So I have some additional fees that are actually getting pulled from SellerAmp, which is great because I want to know my true profit. So that's tip number 2. Run your numbers. Make sure you have a strong ROI and a strong profit. I'm actually curious. Leave a comment down below. What's your minimum profit and minimum ROI that you'll deal with in terms of a DVD? I would love to hear. So the third thing that you're going to want to do before you sell a DVD, and again, I don't care if you're sourcing from Replay Catcher, from eBay to Amazon, a thrift store, a library sale, a yard sale, maybe you're getting it from a friend and you're doing a deal and you're paying $2, $3 each. I don't care how you're sourcing. You always want to make sure you do a competition analysis, right? Like, you want to analyze the competition. You want to take a look and see, where are people priced? What's the market looking like now? But also, you want to go back in the past and see what the trends have been for this product. And I'll show you a real life example here again with this Benny Hill DVD. Now, within Replay Catcher, you can see the current buy box is $57.99. The 30-day buy box average is $63.83. The 90-day is $61. The lowest FBA currently is $57. And the lowest overall offer right now, and this is for new because this is a new DVD, is $52 from a merchant seller. But if you're not using Replay Catcher, I want to share with you how you can do this and how you could break this down. Okay, so the first thing I always recommend doing, and this is why I'm such a huge fan of SellerAmp, and I know I'm hyping it up, but like, I use this every single day and so does my team. The first thing you want to do is scroll down under the offers right here, and you could take a look at all the offers. Okay, so this is how you take a look at the current marketplace. You're doing a competition analysis. You're looking at where is the competition. And the cool thing is, if you take a look on SellerAmp, you can see that FBM is a merchant seller. Okay, FBA is an FBA seller. You can see their quantity, you can see their price, You can also see your profit and ROI based on what you input above, but you could kind of ignore that for now. But this is important because, again, this is sharing with you the competition. Okay. This is sharing with you where the market is right now. Okay. Because a big mistake I see a lot of people making is sometimes they buy an item, maybe a DVD like Benny Hill, right? Now, this is a pretty popular DVD. It's selling about 11 times a month, and I'll talk more about that. I mean, it's not super popular, but it's selling. A big mistake a lot of people make is they'll buy an item and they think they're going to sell it for maybe $57.99 because that's where the buy box is, but they're not looking at the current marketplace to see where the other competitors are. And sometimes the competition, you might have a merchant seller at 22 and then 23 and then 25. Again, let's pretend we're only selling new right now, which is this example. But you have to look at your competition, look at the condition you're selling, and sometimes there's really big gaps between the merchant price and FBA, and that's called an overinflated FBA price. So you have to watch out for that. So that's why it's so important to go into SellerAmp, take a look where the market is, and ask yourself, can I realistically sell it for that price? Okay, another thing that you can do using the tool Keepa is if you install Keepa, this is a Chrome extension you can add onto your desktop. They also do have an app as well, which is great. One thing that you can do in here is you can go into what's called data, okay, and wait for that to load. All right, and you can go to buy box statistics, and you can take a look over a 30, 90, 180 day period, all the sellers who have been listing it. And if it's a check mark, that's an FBA seller. You can see their feedback. But what's even more important is you can take a look and you can see the average price that they're winning the buy box and the percentage they're winning the buy box. Now, I'm going to talk more about this in a couple of minutes, but I like to reference this to see realistically what are other competitors that are selling the same condition product as me. What are they winning the buy box for? So you can see 60-58, 60-32, 77. You see someone down at 44, 75, 59, 60, 69. I mean, let me ask you, what do you realistically think you could sell this for? I'm thinking between $60 to $70. Now, again, you do have to look at the current marketplace. You see FBA's at $57.99, $57, $57. So, realistically, if you're looking to sell this within the next 30 days, considering it's only selling 11 times a month, you're probably looking at $57.99. But this gives you the confidence to know you're probably going to sell this for around that mark, if not more. You don't see people winning the buy box for much less than that. Again, there was one seller, was selling it for $44.88. But again, you want to pay attention to the marketplace. You could also go under price history inside of Keepa. Also, SellerAmp does this as well. They have a Keepa chart right here, and you could open it up so you can see them side by side. But I could open this up for the last 365 days on SellerAmp. I don't even have to use Keepa. And again, you can use this within the SellerAmp mobile app as well. But I could open it up and I can see the same exact thing. And I can look at the price trend. So you see this little pinkish line right here? That's what the buy box price is being won at, okay? If you take a look down at the bottom row, that's the duration of the month, September, November, January, March, May. And if you look up here, you see 25, 50, 75, 100. So you can see that on average, this is selling for, really, look at this, around 75. It does look like it kind of tanked in price after March, but that's one of the benefits of using a tool like SellerAmp. If you buy an item and the rank looks good, or maybe the rank's really high and you're like, does this thing really sell? Like, how often is it selling? Like, what's the price history in the past? What is it now? Just go in here, look at the current marketplace, and also look at the previous history on Keepa of this item, and it's dynamic. You could change a certain, the time frame and look at the different days. So that's why it is so powerful. Okay. Don't get stuck buying items that never sell. Do your research with SellerAmp and with Keepa to make sure not only is it selling for what you think it is today, but what does the past tell you? The past always tells you a story when you're looking into Keepa and SellerAmp. So hopefully that helps. Now, when it comes to selling DVDs, and really even any other product as well, but especially DVDs, you want to check the buy box rotation. Now, I want to share a fun little fact, okay? 80 to 90% of items sell on Amazon because of the buy box. Now, the buy box is right here, this buy it now. Amazon will rotate the buy box. If you take a look on this listing right here, you see how there's all these sellers? Well, who is going to win the sale if someone hits buy it now? It's whoever gets the buy it now button. Whoever gets the buy it now button is the winner of the buy box. So the buy box will rotate, but the buy box isn't always rotating equally. What I mean is, if this item's selling 11 times a month, how do you know who's going to win the buy box? Well, you really don't know, but a lot of times it comes down to, being an FBA seller, having a good selling history, being a good seller, having good feedback, so on and so forth. But you don't just have to trust kind of hoping you're going to get the buy box. You can actually check this. And one cool feature on SellerAmp is you can actually scroll down and there's something called buy box analysis. And also underneath that, it dives even deeper. So right here, this will share with you all the sellers, and let's just put 30 days, who have been winning the buy box. And you can actually see, it's like a pie chart. You can see what percentage the buy box is going to the different sellers. So if you take a look over a 90-day period, it's pretty much rotating evenly. It looks like Mr. Media is winning it 29% of the time. And then you got Streetlight Records winning it less than 1%. Carter Online, they won it 6 weeks ago, that you can see. 19% at the time. Books and Media, 9%. So it's rotating pretty equally. But one thing to keep an eye out for is if you're ever selling a product that's new and Amazon's on the listing, you always want to use SellerAmp's buy box analysis to make sure that Amazon's not taking the buy box like 90% of the time or 100% of the time. It's kind of unfair. It's like a monopoly. I feel like in the future, this is probably going to become illegal, because it's like, listen, you buy a product, you send it into FBA, you're selling on the Amazon platform, but then Amazon could come on the listing and sell it under Amazon.com, not through your name as a third-party seller. And they could literally say, screw everybody else. I'm going to take the buy box. I'm not going to share the buy box. Oh, it's selling 11 times a month. I'm going to take all 11 sales, and then everybody else gets nothing. That happens sometimes. That's why it's so important before you buy a DVD, especially if you're doing eBay to Amazon or Amazon to Amazon and you're really paying up. A lot of DVDs, I'm spending $10, $20, $30, $40 and flipping them for 40, 50, 70, 80. I mean, if you're at a thrift store and you're paying $1 or $2 and it's selling for 20 or 30, you don't have to check the buy box analysis because you're getting it so cheap and your ROI is going to be like 3, 4, 500%, right? So it doesn't really matter as much. But when you're starting to use Replin Catcher, or you're starting to use, different methods to source and your cost of goods is higher, you want to double check this because you need your items to turn in a timely manner. So you could also do this on Keepa as well. You could go into data, and I showed it to you before, buy box statistics. This is for new. Or use buy box statistics. It will share with you all the sellers, if they're FBA, the percentage they're winning. But again, I like to see a product where the buy box is rotating pretty equally. Some sellers are going to take a lot more Mr. Media, and it's probably because you can see that they had 7 in stock. So they had a lot more products in stock. So obviously they're going to win the buy box more because they're active on the listing for a longer duration. But it's very, very important to understand, number one, the buy box is going to different sellers. It rotates. Sometimes it doesn't, especially if Amazon's on the listing. And 80 to 90% of sales on Amazon, customers are just hitting buy it now. They're not actually as savvy as you and I and going in and checking all the offers and looking for the lowest one. They're just hitting buy it now. That's why it's so important to make sure that you're buying products that are, rotating the buy box equally, especially if Amazon is on the listing. So hopefully you gain some value from that tip. All right. And last but not least, before I buy a DVD, there's 2 metrics that I'm always looking at, because, and let me put it this way, you can buy a DVD that's going to make you $60 profit, right? It's super profitable. You put in your buy cost, your selling price. It's got the buy box. You feel like you're going to make all this money. You see the buy box is at a certain price, but guess what? If that item never sells, or it only sells once a year or twice a year, or maybe only once a month, you might be sitting on that item for a long time. Now, I flip a lot of long tail items. I think long tail items are great products to flip. But especially if you're doing eBay to Amazon, or you're spending a lot of money, or your thrift stores are expensive, or your library sales are expensive. I mean, prices are going up recently. You want to make sure the products that you're buying are actually selling in a timely manner. So there's 2 key metrics that I look at. And I'm not talking about buy box rotation. We already talked about that. The first thing you want to look at is the BSR. Do you guys know what that stands for? BSR stands for best seller rank. the Amazon sales rank. Now, essentially the sales rank is a snapshot in time of how fast or how slow an item is selling for. When it comes to DVDs, I'm typically looking to buy DVDs that are under 100,000 rank. Yes, I've sold items that are 125, 150. Matter of fact, I've sold items that are actually at a 300,000 rank. But typically, if you want your DVD to at least have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sales per month, it's typically going to be under 100,000 rank, maybe 125,000 rank, but usually those might only be selling once or twice a month, which is fine if you're not spending a lot of money on that DVD. But number one, I like to find DVDs less than 100,000 rank. And number two, I like to buy DVDs that at least have 3 to 5 sales per month. Now, does that mean, I won't buy a DVD that only sells once or twice a month? No. But the less it sells and the less frequently it sells and the higher the sales rank, the more profit I want to be able to make up for that. So I'm typically looking for at least 3 to 5 sales a month. And again, scan the item if you're at the thrift store with the Amazon Seller app or Seller Amp, like I've been showing in this demonstration, or type it in or scan it into Seller Amp and look it up and take a look to see what the rank is. Take a look to see what the monthly sales is. And again, you could look in Keepa as well, go under price history. You could take all of this off and you could actually look at the sales rank as well. So you can open it up for a month, 3 months, and every one of these green drops is actually a sale. So you could see all the different sales, and you could also open it up based on the condition or what you're selling. If it's used, you could put it here. If it's new, you could put it here. If you want to see the buy box, you could put it there. You can see the history of this item, what the actual price has been, and all the sales ranks and sales drops. So again, before you buy an item, look at the rank and look at the monthly sales. All right, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, there's a lot of things that you need to know before you sell a DVD. And there's certainly, different things you want to look out for to make sure the item's in good condition. You want to make sure it's not counterfeit. I've made some videos in the past as well. I'll put a link to another video down below that's breaking down more tips and tricks and things that you should know before you sell DVDs. But, especially, when you're out there in the field and you're analyzing deals, these are 5 things to definitely be on the lookout for. So thanks so much for watching this video. Let me know down below in the comments, what's the number one thing that you learned from this video? And let me know as well, what's been your best DVD sale that you've ever had? How much did you sell it for? I would love to know. So with that being said, much love. I appreciate you guys. I'll put links down below to the replay catcher, to Seller Amp, to Keepa. And again, go out there, make the right decisions, be patient, and just watch as your business continues to grow. Love supporting you guys. Thanks so much. Much love. See you in the next one. Bye.